It is 8:18, and Governor Inslee has indeed joined us. Governor, thank you very much. Okay, what's up?
Well, this is a big day in the state of Washington. We have, a couple iconic figures in the state of Washington. One being Mount Rainier, and the other being Dave Ross.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you're going off to be a full-time opera singer instead of keeping us wise every morning is a major event in the history of the state of Washington, and I wanted to help celebrate it.
Oh, thank you.
What a career. Dave, I understand you were in the very first radio broadcast. It was 1920 in Seattle, and that was year, of course, we had women's suffrage, and
Yes.
also the league, but unfortunately Prohibition started, and the League of Nations were created. What did you think was most historically significant in retrospect, in your view?
I didn't think the League of Nations was going to work because they had nothing in common. And as for women's suffrage, I thought it was long overdue. I'm saying that because were I not to say that, the person next to me here would be at my throat in a heartbeat. But I think you will agree. I think we have, isn't Washington one of the states with the largest number of females in the legislature? Something like that?
I believe we're up there on the top, and we were one of the first actually to embrace women's suffrage. And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons our state almost always elects incredibly gifted governors. And they made one. They made one mistake when they didn't re-elect me to Congress in '94, and unfortunately, even I didn't make it to Congress together.
Yeah,
in the year you ran too. But I sure enjoyed running with you, and it's just been a joy. David, tell me, I want to know your secret. So you have a secret sauce of being extremely insightful and provocative, but still gracious and unthreatening. What is your secret sauce? People want to know.
Because I will take a good idea regardless of the source, right? So if and this, as you know, Governor, is probably what got me into trouble in my own political campaign. I really, if it was a good idea, and sometimes those ideas were labeled conservative, and sometimes they were labeled liberal, whatever. But to me, if it worked, if it got results, why not endorse it? And I noticed that these days, if your idea at all resembles the very same idea proposed by a political opponent, you are duty-bound to say, that is the worst damn idea I ever saw. And so I probably wouldn't have lasted in politics as long as you have, because well, I don't know. I got to ask you. What your secret is to longevity in politics. I mean, you have to, sway with the breeze. What do you have to do?
Well, you just got to ask yourself. You have some tough decisions to make. When you're governor, COVID. And how to deal with climate change and everything else. And when you reach a fork in a road and you have a big decision to make, finally, you listen to your advisors, you get briefed, you talk to all your constituents, and just before you walk out the door to announce your decision, you say, what would Dave Ross do? And that's how I make decisions.
What you're saying is you're blaming me. Figure out, I see, find somebody else to blame if it goes wrong, huh?
I have enjoyed so much listening to your insights while shaving, and you've been up for 4 or 5 hours by that time.
Yes.
And it has been so inspiring to me to have a figure that is really interested and has interesting ideas that somehow it just provokes more thought than ire in people. And I really do believe it's a particular genius, and Washingtonians have enjoyed it, and I have enjoyed it so much, and so I wish you well, and I hope that this is going to lead to a more professional opera career rather than an amateur one. You certainly deserve it.
You are sending the opera fans of Seattle into a panic. I want to reassure them, no, I am not going into opera in any way, except to be in the audience a lot. And I want to thank you. I know we've had our differences. I know we've had our contentious interviews, but I hope you know it was all in the interest of keeping people informed.
I always enjoyed a good dialogue with you, and I hope there'll be some more and more relaxed settings. So, Dave, congratulations.
Governor, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
It is.
Why did you look at me when you said contentious?
I was afraid you were going to say something.
You're the one that gave me the eye. No, it's been good fun, right? I mean,
No,
that's the deal too. And to all fairness to Governor Inslee, just coming on the radio station is the right step, right? Whether that interview turns out to be informative, not informative, answering the question, coming forward,
This is the
being
thing.
forward facing, that's important for politicians to do.
I will explain something because I read all my critics, and you asked them a softball question. Why didn't you push the knife in? When I ask somebody on the air, I don't do it to ambush them. I don't think it achieves anything. If they don't want to answer the question, then that should be evident to the listener, and they can vote accordingly the next time. But I wanted people to at least agree to come on knowing they'd be treated fairly.
Sure.
If I think politicians expect difficult questions. That's why they run, and they get one run for office will tell you that a politician's got to be ready for anything because just doorbelling, people are going to get in your face. I had one person spit at the ground and rip up my campaign leaflet when I rang his doorbell.
Wow.
That kind of thing just happens. They're not afraid of difficult questions, but they don't want one bad answer to ruin their reelection chances. And if you sit down and actually have a talk with them long enough, you will find out where they stand. And that was my position. I don't want people to say that was an unfair interview. I will never go on with him again because that accomplishes nothing.
That's true. You are a decent man. And I think that's evident to all the listeners out there. You've always been fair, you've always been kind, and you've always been curious. And that's your recipe for success.
Well, thank you, Colleen.
You're welcome.
And back at you.
I'm going to keep my fire, though.
Yeah, I know. I hope you do.